I'm going to show you how to find 8 hours a week just for your creative work, even with a demanding full-time job. Demonstrating it's possible by making prototypes every single day as part of a 90-day challenge, despite having a very busy schedule as a director at the Harvard Business School. I've always had day job schedules that feel too full, but I've always tried to be radically prolific on my nights and weekends. When I was studying robots and artificial intelligence at the MIT Media Lab, we had a motto, demo or die. Learn by doing, explore by making. This is an ethos I carried into my work as founding director of technology at the MIT Museum. I believe there's much to be gained when we roll up our sleeves and make things. I'm going to show you the exact system I'm using to carve out creative space so I can spend time building out the ideas that are interesting to me, whether or not it has anything to do with my day job. By the end of this video, you'll have a framework to do this yourself. Okay, let's be honest about something. How many times have you said, I wish I had time to work on that creative project? Or I'd love to experiment with that idea, but I'm just too busy. I've been saying that for years. And here's the thing. I work in innovation. I teach others about creativity. I help organizations think about the future, but I wasn't actually building these futures for myself. I was just talking about them. I realized I was starting to turn into a hypocrite. I was advising people to experiment, to prototype, to learn by making, to get their hands dirty. Well, I was stuck in endless meetings and email cycles without building anything myself. The wake-up call came when a friend asked me, so what have you made lately that fires you up? And I didn't have a good answer. Here's what I was telling myself. I don't have time because of my day job. I'll start that project when things slow down. I just need to find the time to set up my workspace first. I'll wait for the full weekend to really focus on something creative when I have a lot of time. But here's what I've come to realize. Time isn't found. It's designed. And you don't need massive blocks of hours to be radically creative. You need a system. My framework has 3 parts. 1, time architecture, how to find the time. 2, scope management, how to keep projects small enough to finish. And 3, energy optimization, how to stay creative when you're exhausted. Let me walk you through each one. Time architecture. First, you need to forget about finding time, much less managing it. So step 1, the time audit. I tracked every 15-minute block for 3 days, not to optimize everything, but to find the hidden pockets. I discovered I had, on average, 47 minutes each morning before the day got crazy, and 23 quality minutes most evenings after dinner, but before I got too tired. That's 70 minutes a day, more than enough. Step 2, the creative hour protection. I picked 5:30 to 6:30 a.m. as my sacred prototyping time. Same time, every day. It's on my calendar. I treat it like an unmovable meeting. Step 3, micro sessions. I don't just rely on that 1 hour. I've identified 3 types of micro sessions throughout my day. Coffee break builds. 15 minutes to sketch or research between work sessions. I give my day job a full 8 hours, but there are always micro chunks of time between meetings. Commute consumption. Commutes are great for capturing ideas instead of consuming media or playing games on my phone. Evening experiments. 20 minutes as dinner's cooking to test something small before I wrap up the day. Most prototypes happen in the morning hour, but the micro sessions keep momentum alive. Pillar 2. Scope management. The biggest mistake I made before this challenge, thinking every creative project needed to be perfect or complete. So I followed the 1-day rule. Every prototype must be demonstratable in 1 day. But here's how I scope. Can I explain the core idea in 1 sentence? Can I build a working version in 60 minutes? Can I show someone what it does in 30 seconds? If any answer is no, the scope is way too big. For example, I wanted to build an AI tool for better meetings. Too big. So I scoped it down to an AI tool that generates 1 follow-up question for my meeting notes. Built it in 45 minutes. The constraint forces creativity. When you can't build everything, you build the essentials. Pillar 3. Energy optimization. This is the part people always forget. You can have perfect time management and perfect project scoping, but if you're exhausted, you won't feel motivated to create anything, much less anything good. So here's my energy protocol. Morning momentum. I prototype when my brain is fresh before email and meetings drain my creative energy. Some people will have their momentum in the evening, but I'm just a morning guy. Energy triggers. I've identified what gives me creative energy versus what drains me. For me, music helps, but notifications kill creativity. So phone goes in airplane mode, music goes on, I start building something. The 2-minute rule. If I sit down to prototype and feel resistance, I commit to just 2 minutes. Usually momentum takes over. If not, I've only lost a couple minutes. Celebration moments. After each prototype, I take 30 seconds to acknowledge what I built. This tiny celebration creates positive association with the creative process. The hardest part isn't finding time, it's maintaining the energy to use that time creatively. So let me be honest about what's working and what's not. What's working? The morning routine is solid. Having a consistent time makes it automatic. Small scope is liberating. I'm building things I would have procrastinated on for months. And I'm not worrying about anything being perfect because you can't make something perfect in an hour. You ship something, and something is better than nothing with this mindset. The momentum is real. Each small win makes the next one easier. And the really amazing thing is that this creates an energy flywheel that extends into my day job. I'm actually finding myself more engaged and creative and energized during the day when I spend time making things outside of the day. But here's what's challenging. Weekends. Weekends are a mixed blessing. Sure, they give me much longer blocks of time that I can focus on prototyping. But I have this habit of assuming weekends are unlimited. I don't really have a good boundary on it. And so then I try to bite off more than is reasonable. It's fine if you get into creative flow on a Saturday, but don't forget you need to recharge the batteries also. Worse, weekends have less routine than weekdays, so it's harder to stick to any kind of consistent calendar. Some days, the ideas simply don't flow. So for me, I'm having to learn that having a backlog of low energy ideas is helpful. I can just pick one, assuming that building something bad is better than building nothing at all. And documenting everything takes time I hadn't planned for. If I make something in my home office and nobody sees it, did it really happen? And here's the big one. My workspace is working against me. My home office and my basement workshop are honestly a mess right now. Papers everywhere, tools I can't find, cables tangled in drawers. Every time I sit down to build, I waste 5 minutes just clearing space or looking for something I need. And that friction adds up. It makes the 2-minute rule harder because there is a setup tax before I can even start. So over the course of this 90-day challenge, I'm going to fix that. Not all at once. That would break my own scoping rule, but incrementally, one small workspace improvement at a time. Better cable management one week, tool organization the next, creating a space that invites creativity and reduces friction instead of creating resistance. I'll document that process too, because I think a lot of us are trying to do creative work in spaces that aren't really set up for it. And fixing that might be as important as finding time. It's all about space. But here's the biggest insight. This isn't about becoming more productive. It's about becoming more experimental. When you know you're building something new every day, you start seeing the world differently. Every conversation, every article, every YouTube video, every random thought becomes potential prototype material. It's not just finding the time to be creative. It's rewiring your brain to be creative all the time. And that's available to anyone. You don't need to quit your job or find an extra 40 hours a week. You just need to start building something small today. So here's what I want you to try. Day one, do the time audit. Find your hidden pockets. Track your time for just 2 days. Look for those 15 to 30-minute gaps that usually get filled with social media or random tasks. Day two, pick one 30-minute window and protect it. Put it in your calendar. Day three, choose something you've been wanting to build and scope it down to 1 hour. Day four, build that thing. Document what you learn. You can do this all in one day, but you don't need to commit to 90 days like I did. Just try for a few days, see what happens. And when you build something, anything, share it. Tag me, leave a comment, post about it. I want to see what you create. I'm early in this 90-day experiment. I don't know if I'll make it all the way, but I'm already learning things I never expected. If you want to follow this journey, subscribe. You'll get updates on the challenge, plus practical tutorials on prototyping, AI tools that are making all of this even more possible, and how to supercharge your creative experimentation. And seriously, above all else, comment or reach out. Tell me what you're making. I'm looking for a community of people who learn by making, not just by watching. So now it's your turn. go build something.